Petey, I hate to have to eat you, but I did Oh. Tonight you're in for a special treat. A special crime and punishment edition of the Cell Block, where only the 8th Amendment, one of the all-time worst in my opinion, almost as bad as the 5th Amendment, keeps me from drawing and quartering myself or having my eyes pecked out, Suzanne Plachette style, with the birds. I have been brought low by my hubris. Yes, hubris. And aside from on this show, where you hear it every other day, how often do you hear people use the word hubris on TV? Last week, all pumped up and proud by the success I had with my recent game plans, the Jack in the Box, the Chipotle, the Foster Wheeler, the McDermott, I did something you should never ever do. I got cocky. And in this game, the moment you get cocky, the moment you think that, hey, if I buy a stock, it has to go up. The moment you start believing that you're smarter than your own rules, I need you to call your broker or get online and sell everything you're buying that goes against your rules. Then, go through your portfolio and see what else you bought with your stupid swelled head and rule breaking and sell that too. Because I don't want you to have to eat crow like I'm about to do. See, hubris filled last week's game plan. I got cocky. I broke the rules. Over and over and over again, I have told you that technology, and by this, I don't mean the internet, okay, which is now more of an advertising and search play, that technology cannot be purchased before we get to August. I've said it over. It's a whole theme for the year. Over and over. I allowed a couple of exceptions at the beginning of the year because I didn't want you to be so underweight in technology that you didn't have anything. I said Hewlett-Packard, which I own for my charitable trust, ActionAlertsPlus.com. I said Microsoft, and I said Cisco, that they could be owned through. But even that last one ain't working, although the other two turned out to be pretty darn good. So what exactly did I do in last week's game plan that was so bad? Why am I beating myself up? Why am I threatening to eat crow? Or, in this particular case, tech crow. Notice this tech nest that my crack staff created? They want me to eat crow eggs, not just the real deal. Well, maybe because it was... Man washes down crow with Diet Coke. Ooh, Dr. Pepper. Well, because it was May, and thus well before August, I, like the genius I am, recommended buying not one, but 2 tech companies. Great. And for that, I'm deeply ashamed and I'm apologetic. Have no fear, I'm punishing myself severely when I'm not too depressed to do anything other than drink the Johnny Walker Red on the dirty linoleum floor in the dark. First, I went against my better judgment and thought that everything was finally hunky-dory at CA. Oh, jeez. Hunky-dory at CA? The only thing hunky-dory about it is that when you're going out to the Hamptons, you pass it really fast if you're going 90. CA, I said it was scrubbed clean. And that I was drawn to it because I figured, well, now that it was cleaned up and management was no longer looting the company, had to be some value, right? Wrong! Even if the accounting irregularities no longer equal sell, the fundamentals that this company do, and what the heck was I doing recommending a software company at this time of the year anyway? Stock's down 7.4% since I recommended it on Friday. Which one of you wants to peck my eyes out? Which one of you wants me to take a bite? All right, is it enough for me to break my rule just once? Oh, of course not! I mean, if you're going to get something hideously wrong once because of your stupid arrogance, well, why not just go for it, right? All in. Cramer's all in. He didn't stop at CA with his crummy tech recommendations. No. He had to go even further out on a limb. And while he was up there, he decided to saw the limb off personally because he wrote the rules he violated. Good one, Cramer. Really smart. What'd I do? I recommended one of the worst performing stocks of the week. I recommended Analog Devices. ADI. Yep. You know what I used to do at the hedge fund? I wore it, but everybody else had to if they screwed up. ADI was post-it worthy. That's right. You put the post-it on your forehead when you screw it up to remind yourself of failure and stupidity. And of course I made people walk around the block and show that. You think it was just good enough to embarrass yourself, mortify yourself in front of people like me? No. The whole city had to know what an idiot you were. And that's what I feel. Now I've got 19 million people who watch MSNBC and listen to the fan and radio streamed across the country for MSN Live, Jim Cramer, now know that I'm an idiot. ADI is a close number 2 to Texas Instruments in a bunch of semiconductors, the kinds of semis that go into pretty much every gadget out there, from cell phones to DVDs to televisions. Texas Instruments, known as Texan on the street, had an excellent quarter, one of the best I'd seen in tech, and I was itching. Like many of the analysts, I just couldn't keep my hands in my pockets. I'd watched tech go up, so I said, forget the discipline. ADI is Texas Instruments. It'll work too. And then I overlaid the fact that the CEO of Avnet, the big semi-distributor, had come on my show, and said the inventory correction where there were too many chips was over. So I put the Avnet bullishness on top of the Texas Instruments quarter, and I said, how can I miss with analog devices? I should have asked how much, not how, because I missed by a mile. I was right about Texas Instruments, too right. It's doing great at the expense of analog devices. It's called competition, Cramer. According to Merrill Reese, actually he's the announcer for the Eagles, according to Merrill Lynch, which downgraded ADI yesterday, opportunities in its core markets are shrinking. And the new markets it's embracing aren't growing fast enough and have lower gross margins. Oops. Well, I don't know if there ever will come a time to buy CA. And I'm putting that one in the perma cell block, the gulag, the Stalag Luft 4. ADI will just go on my scalp, my considerable scalp. ADI will just stay on my scalp as a sad reminder of what happens when I violate my own rules. The bottom line, don't post it yourself. Don't get arrogant. And you won't repeat Cramer's stupid mistakes in CA and ADI, and you will not have to have crow for dinner, as I am certainly going to have. Stick with Cramer.